So it's often a topic that nobody, especially in this country, likes to talk about. Well, I'm speaking on behalf of white communities since I've mainly been immersed in those. And it was a topic that I grew up knowing a lot about, seeing as though my sister married a black guy when I was really young. So I've been inside this issue for a while and I've heard different perspectives than a lot of my friends grew up with. But I wanted to talk today about racism and get a conversation going that maybe wouldn't normally happen. So, like I said, I grew up with a lot of black family members inside my family. I would see them often. We'd spend holidays together. I got to learn a lot of black culture, food, art, music through them. And then also, I grew up as a kid who just seeked out the little guy, right? Like the minority or whatever. That's the person I would associate myself with. I remember growing up, I grew up in Wisconsin, and this part of Wisconsin mainly just had white people or Hmong, Asian people. Very few black kids growing up were in my area. Like, I didn't know many. I had one best friend. Her name was Sable. I remember we would talk about how one of the American Gladiators was named like her, and I thought that was really cool. And she had braids, and she was awesome and unique, and I wonder what happened to her. Shout out to Sable. But most of my friends were Hmong, and I remember growing up and learning so much about the culture and the language, and I thought it was beautiful. And I remember being a kid and enjoying the beauty in that, and seeing how adults around me treated me when I brought home other white kids versus Hmong kids or black kids, and I felt it. As a kid, I could feel that energy, a shift, if you will. So today, I was watching old clips of The View because I'm an 85-year-old Jewish woman at heart. But while I was watching them, they had on Diamond Reynolds, and she was the girlfriend of Philando Castile. I think I said that correctly. If I fucked that up, whoops. But I was reading the comments before I watched the interview, and by the comments alone, I assumed something that I later regretted, because the comments were full of predominantly white people speaking about Diamond in such a negative way, saying that she was seeking 15 minutes of fame, she was an attention whore, she didn't have a true story, she's lying, all of this stuff, right? So getting ready to watch this interview, I was like, okay, I'm getting ready to see somebody who's like, and then the police officer was totally, like, just a Kim Kardashian style human being, like really low intelligence. Completely 180. I was watching Diamond speak. She was well-spoken, educated. She was very calm and impassioned while she spoke on this topic. And I was flabbergasted by the fact that when they showed the video, what was shown was you could hear somebody off screen screaming hysterically, and then the video shows as she's live streaming this on Facebook. I believe that's how it was sent to the world. Thank God for that. But you could hear this frantic screaming, and then it panned over and you saw it was the police officer, which that shouldn't be condoned by anyone. A police officer's duty is to remain calm in the eye of danger. Like that, they're taking an oath. When you sign up to be a police officer, you take an oath and you are sworn to protect and serve the people. Okay? You're taking that oath knowing you're putting your life on the line. Okay? So in any day on the job, you could be killed. That is what that oath is, to protect and serve. Citizens of any city around this country do not take that oath. And we do not take an oath that swears we are putting our life on the line to uphold the Constitution by any means against police officers. We don't go out in the day thinking, I have to fear a police officer today. Well, maybe more recently that's starting to shift, because I do feel that is the feeling now. But it's weird. There's no situation where a civilian should feel like they're putting themselves in danger of being killed, murdered by a cop just for speaking up. No weapon was drawn, nothing happened. And this video that Diamond showed shows her remaining calm the entire time. The cop hysterically and frantically shouting, "Look at what you made me do! Look at, I shot him, he's dead," basically confessing to this murder. I'm not quoting verbatim, I need to rewatch it. I don't want to have to. Actually, I might not rewatch it because that was just awful. But he's confessing to a murder, and it bothers me. I grew up in the 90s with a mom who loved watching reruns of PI shows like Perry Mason or Matlock, so I mean, maybe it helped form a brain where I'm like, okay, I can see when a situation I'm given is a lie. Like, you can decipher messages, and that's supposed to be what intuition is. You should be able to put together the real true message, because that's what humans innately are built to do. We are very intuitive creatures. We've just submerged that under Doritos and Fox News. Like, it's ridiculous. But for real, like, we're supposed to be able to see a situation or hear about a situation and kind of resonate with the truth. So then Diamond went on to explain what actually happened that day. They were pulled over for a busted taillight. And when the cop approached the car, Philando disclosed the information that he was carrying a weapon. Minnesota is an open carry state. That's fine to do there. And the only law is let the officer know you're carrying. It's completely legal. He had the papers. It was licensed. That's fine. So the cop, his reaction should have been, okay, thank you for letting me know. License and registration. Busted taillight. I'm going to take care of the job I'm here to do. That's how it should have went. It didn't go that way. And what we're able to surmise from the video is that something made the cop frantic. In your mind, doesn't it make sense that that something that made the cop frantic is probably Philando letting him know that he had a weapon? Then the cop assuming, oh, the color of your skin's different than mine. I'm scared. I am going into police mind mode where I have to draw my weapon because I have every right to defend myself. Whoa, whoa, whoa. When did it escalate? It escalated in this cop's mind. And when he pulled that trigger 4 times on somebody who was reaching for their wallet to get their license, which is then described by Diamond on video, where the cop is frantically screaming, look at what you made me do, he made me kill him, he's dead, stuff like that. Diamond's like, no, officer, in a very calm voice, you asked him to reach for his license, that's what he was doing. At no point should the cop have assumed that Philando was reaching for a weapon, so then he assumed he had every right to fear for his life and then take Philando's. Like, that is not okay, and nor should it be condoned by anybody, even those police fucking loving people who are like anti-Black Lives Matter right now. I don't understand how you are condoning somebody murdering somebody just for saying they felt at fear when their job is to stand in the face of fear and protect. Like, none of this makes sense to me. It really bothers me that we, the people, aren't able to watch this video, understand what happened, and have compassion and empathy for the family who had their 4-year-old, soon-to-be 5-year-old daughter in the backseat watching all this. She was witness to her father's murder. She was witness to a cop, a man, a safety figure in our country who's supposed to be sworn to serve and protect her and her community. She saw him murder her father. How are we supposed to explain to that young girl to grow up and respect authority? Why? Why? Like, why? He had no respect for his fellow man, Philando. He had no respect for his life. And you see that it's a confession to murder in that video when the cop is saying, oh my God, look at what you made me do. He's all worked up. He's hyper. He knows what he did was wrong there. We need to be the blind justice that doesn't see authority, that doesn't see color, that doesn't see Black Lives Matter versus police. This isn't about that. This is a murder that we witnessed when we leave the litigation up to the fucking bullies who are protecting their own. The badge is this cover for, like, we'll help you out of any sticky situation. We need to wake up to that because it's us. It's time for us to be the ones to say this isn't okay and we do not condone this. And just because you're wearing that badge doesn't mean you get to fucking murder. Okay? And now I also want to just put it out there that I do believe a lot of these murders that were being, shown, like, corralled in front of us, I think it's strategic. I think there's something behind it. I do think somebody out there, the elite class, is trying to create another civil war, a riot, if you will, whether it's amongst whites and blacks or civilians and police. I think something is being ignited in order to incite martial law, and that is a very serious consequence to a problem we should be taking care of as people. Like, we should be able to handle this. We should be able to hold police accountable. And I mean, going on YouTube, reading some of these racist remarks, judging Diamond just for having a story to tell and some film to show with it. Now white people need to condemn footage because it's not factual, because, you know, white people are protecting other white people just like cops are protecting cops, and we need to stand up against this. Especially white people need to stand up and say, like, this is clearly some sort of strategic maniacal move being played. Like, it's to a point. There's too many. It's something like 460 murders of, you know, black Americans in this country this year so far. That's just what we know of. I mean, it's just, this is a real topic and it's very serious. And I was reading this other comment by a black woman on the Hulu channel I watched The View on, and she made such a brilliant comment, and the whole thing was beautiful. But this one specific part where she was like, maybe try studying more black history, maybe try studying more real white history, the history you have to dig for because history books are a lie. And then she said, or maybe go beyond and study Native American history. And she quoted this chief who said, "Pale-faced man speak with forked tongue." And I thought about that. And I'm like, holy shit, dude. Every war in recent times, every atrocity, I mean, even if you look at this ISIL problem we're having funded by Western America, funded by pale-faced with snake tongue. Like, it's just, it has me thinking, because I'm like, you know, it's white people who aren't realizing racism is still a problem, and it's black people pleading with us to wake up. They only make up 13% of the population here in America, but they make up for over 30% of the murder rates by police, or the incarceration rate. I need to look that figure up. I'm not sure if it's murder by police or incarceration. I can't remember, but it's too much. It's too high for the percentage of what they represent in this country, and it's not fair, and it's scary. It's really scary. And you see every time that the black community, you know, hugs each other and holds on to each other and says it's going to be all right, let's start this movement, it's always white America so threatened by 13% of the country that we need to retaliate with violence. And it's, you know, whether it's the Black Panthers, who were no more violent than the KKK has ever been, and yet the KKK still exists, and the Black Panthers are condemned, and now it's Black Lives Matter, we're condemning that, and it's like, why? It's a movement. Yes, it's being infiltrated by some bad people, probably government-owned operatives, but we need to be smart enough to realize that. If in a movement a message this strong is resonating, we need to understand there's going to be good and bad things in the movement, good and bad people in the movement, good and bad ideas. Of any movement, of any skin color, it doesn't matter. We're beyond skin color at this point. We need to wake up, realize what authority and elite are doing to this country and this world, because this is a global problem. This is the cancer of the world right now, and we need to fucking deal with it. Be okay with talking racism. Be okay with talking race issue. Be understanding. If you're a white person, you have no idea what it's like to be black in this country. It's okay to say that. It's okay to not defend white people all the time. That's cool. Let our black brothers and sisters speak. It's their time. Like, for real. They're a voice that we need to understand. It's just all of their culture and their art and their music and their voice is being snuffed out, and we need to understand that it's not okay. It's not okay. I mean, we need to work together. So with that said, I wanted to get this message out there. Take care of each other. Speak up when you see something going wrong, and peace out. Love.